Well, here we are for Club Friday, okay? If it looks like something's missing here, it is, and it's Taylor. And she had some very personal things that she had to take care of today, and she left Club Friday up to me. I don't know if you guys can believe that or not, but she actually entrusted it to me. I don't want anyone to tell her about this, but I'm sitting in her chair, okay? So that gives me the authority to do what I need to do. And we're going to have a good Club Friday here, guys. And for those of you, that do all the stuff and the comments and stuff, have at it. Okay. And if this is your first time on, let us know with the one of the replay. You know the deal. Okay. Let us know what country you're coming in from, because they're coming in from around the globe. It's been amazing to watch this whole book club. If you go back and look, we did not have, last November is when we kicked off the LT Academy with all the components to it. And it's the three-legged stool, the ABC approach. A three-legged stool is the book club, which we do here every Friday. And this is sponsored by the LT Wealth Building Academy. And we bring this to anybody in any company, in any country, with any products, with any compensation plans. And we work together. And I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing to be able to put the different companies, the different countries, the different methodologies together with the concepts and principles that we teach over in the academy, and bring it out to the people and be able to leverage each other's story. Even if we're in a different country, a different product, a different company, etc., we're able to leverage it. And it's been pretty magical. We started this three-legged stool, the full academy, in November of last year. And the growth of it has been pretty phenomenal. We only had 4 academy members join us in November. Okay. And you guys have seen the growth that's come since that point. And the reason is this free resource. This is a free resource that, like I said before, we'll let anybody come in and participate in this and watch it and get ideas and stuff, because it is sponsored by the Academy, because this is designed to get you interested, to give you a perspective of what's happening in our network marketing space today, to be able to say, wait a minute, I need to be able to pay attention to this thing and see what happens here over the next few months. And so the other resource that we have at the Academy, it's another free resource, and you see it at the bottom of the screen, millionairetraining.com, and it's a free resource. And let me tell you something, guys, if you never went beyond that, I'm telling you, it's gold. There's so much value there that you can pick up. The Millionaire Training book, okay, you can get that over there, but you can also stream the Millionaire Training, original Millionaire Training. You can stream it over there absolutely free. On my suggestion, as always, to download that. That's the only thing you can ever spend any money on over there. I think it's $9.95 US to download the audio track from this original book, which has built the industry, and put it on every device you can possibly put it on. Use it at every moment you can possibly use it, and watch what happens, because you'll find out that the guys in the book that shared their stories, and by the way, we didn't write these stories. This is their stories, okay? And Taylor was the one that was responsible to make that happen. And what she did was she interviewed everybody on Zoom and recorded it, and then we transcribed it and we sent it back to them, and then the story was theirs. But I'll tell you what happened. The same thing happened to them that happened for me when I first got this information from Jim Rohn and Bobby Depew back in the 60s, and then condensed it down into my stories, what my side of this thing was, in February 21st of 1981, that original recording, the first training I did with Herbalife. And guys, I will tell you, every story in this book, okay, they have an intimate relationship with what's on that Millionaire Training tape. And that's why I'm suggesting that you guys download it and get it on every device. I love the comments that are coming from the book. I love them. Okay. However, the book, and I'm an audio guy. I got to hear it. I was a good student as long as I could hear it and remember it. Okay. But I didn't know how to study. So Taylor's a visual person, so she really likes the book. But I'll tell you something about the book that can't happen that the audios can't. Okay. And what happened was these guys, anytime they needed some extra motivation, anytime they needed some extra push because they were having a downtime, and guys, we have downtimes all the time. Anyone that tells you don't is not telling you the truth. Okay, you have ups and downs, in and out with your attitude, your thinking, your passion, your desire. I mean, those things fluctuate sometimes on a daily, hourly basis because of life circumstances. And sometimes you can get dumped on by one of your distributors, or you can have something happen at the company, or you're talking to some person that you thought was going to join and they don't. You join something that just joined and quit. Okay. Your mind goes like this. We're just normal people. and be able to touch and be able to go in and like on page, I forgot what it is now, 84, I believe it is, for mental projector. You can't drive down the road and read that, okay? But you can ride down the road and listen to that. You can't, guys, while you're changing the diaper and the wife is on the Zoom call, you can listen to this wife from changing the diaper. You cook dinner, taking a bath. So I'm suggesting to you that you have a complete intimate relationship with the contents that is here, because this is what has built the industry. And I got a couple of stories here I want to share with you. And then we got a couple of guests that we're going to have on here, and we want to hear from them of how this stuff is working with them. But I want to do something here that I haven't done before. And Taylor's been encouraging that we do this together, and I think we will. And she's got some plans for some kind of audio book to come out with this here in the first part of next year. Not just an audio book with the content, but with her and I discussing it. Okay. And I thought, wouldn't that be interesting? And so I said, maybe I'll take a section today and read it to you. And I said, well, what am I going to read here? You know? And so this is only going to take a couple minutes, but after this, I got some stuff to share with you on the gig economy. That's going to, if you pay attention, it's going to just absolutely do wonders for your thinking and where you're going to take this thing and where we're going to go. But what I'm talking about now, the subject matter here was procrastination. Okay. And we all procrastinate. I don't care if you walked on hot coals. I don't care if you're the coach and guru of the world. Okay. We all have areas of our life that we procrastinate on. If not, we call you superhuman and we call you the deity. That's what we got to have to call you. But we all have these same problems. But procrastination, I like to relate stories, and I love it because Taylor's a big story person, because she listens, she really likes, she gets handles on things through stories, and so do I. And this was a story that I put in the original Millionaire training tape back in February 1981, and I'm going to read it to you as it happened, just as it happened. And I want you to try and get some nuggets out of this, okay? And it's called The Fried Bologna Sandwich, okay? What a strange title, okay, for a chapter in the book. Okay. And I'm going to read it as it comes. And then I got these stories for you. And I'm saying here, we're in the nutritional business, because you got to remember, this is the first training that I did with Herbalife International. We're in the nutritional business, but I'm going to tell you right now, my favorite sandwich in the whole world. And I love sandwiches, and I do. Okay. I mean, I just don't like sandwiches. I love them. I just love them. And my favorite sandwich in the whole world is a fried bologna sandwich. If any of you have ever had a fried bologna sandwich, I don't know. But let me tell you, you've never had one in the world like the way that I can make it. And sometimes I'm hoping to be able to prepare. I love preparing my fried bologna sandwiches. And if I get to prepare it for you and you eat it, you're never going to believe it. You're going to love it. Okay. I know we're in the nutrition business, but listen, we eat hot dogs sometimes. Okay. We eat corn dogs out at the fairs and stuff. I understand that. That's not in the text here. That's just reading it. Talking it. Once I prepare you a fried bologna sandwich, you'll never be the same again in your life with sandwiches. Now, why am I telling you this? Because it deals with procrastination. When I did construction work, what I had every day for lunch? Every single day I had it. It was a fried bologna sandwich. It was my favorite. When I say every day, there was days when I did other sandwiches, maybe 2 or 3 times a month. But I always went back to my fried bologna sandwich. It's got to be prepared right, though. That's important that it's prepared right. And secondly, it's got to be eaten right. Now, I know it sounds strange to you, but when you do it, it's so good. You have no idea how good it is. And I've been at that point, I've been in the business and sales for about a year. Okay. So I want you to picture that. Okay. I was about in the business for about a year, and I was having some tough times at that point. Okay. I was making money and everything, but I was having some tough times because of my attitude, because I wasn't secure, as I said, because I was nervous about it all the time. I wasn't sure. I was full time, but I wasn't sure how this was going to continue. And this was a special day because I planned to take this day completely off. Okay. It was easier back then than it is today because of all the technology that's in front of us. But I wanted to take the day off. It was in March, and March is my favorite month, not just because of the fact that that's the month I was born, but I just love March, especially growing up in the San Joaquin Valley of California. Okay, back to the book here. It was March, okay, and I wanted to do some work on my deck, and I was building my deck out there, and I'd been, piddling around with it and wasn't getting much of a place. And I had planned on taking the day off and really getting on with building that deck. And I was there all by myself, and I never will forget this. I didn't want to eat anything in the morning at all because I didn't like to get bogged down. I like to be able to have the energy to move forward. And I had it all figured out where I could do X amount of work and stop about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, rest a little bit, and prepare my fried bologna sandwich and eat it leisurely at 2 o'clock. It was going to be so good. And I kept working, right up until the time I planned. And finally I got down, and it was time to prepare my fried bologna sandwich. And I prepared it the same way I always did. And I started eating it. And then all of a sudden, okay, as I'm eating this fried bologna sandwich, and it'd been a long time since I'd had one because I hadn't been doing construction work at the time. And for some reason, this fried bologna sandwich didn't taste nearly as good to me as I felt like it should. And that was bothering me. And I trained myself now, even though it's only been a year in the business, I trained myself enough by now to pay attention to things that didn't feel quite right. Okay, that's important. And to analyze them and figure it out and change it as quickly as possible. Important. And for whatever reason, I couldn't figure out why this fried bologna sandwich wasn't tasting good. And then all of a sudden, I got it. I understood it. And you know what it was? I've never liked the crust on a sandwich, ever. I don't like the crust. It's terrible, right? It's dry. You know what it's like. It's dry. It's crusty. Okay. And, most of the time you try to figure out a way to throw the crust away. But guess what? Okay. You can't throw the crust away. Why? Because there's starving children in India. Remember our moms talking to us? You can't throw that away. So what do you do? If you can't throw the crust away, what do you do? So what you do is, okay, you look at the sandwich and you start eating around the crust. Okay. That's what most people, they eat around the crust. And then, they start working their way into the middle without eating the crust. The big problem is by the time they eat around the crust, what is left is the crust. That's what's left. And it's dry and it's terrible tasting. Nothing good about that deal at all. And then it hit me why I wasn't enjoying this sandwich. I figured it out. And that's when I related this to procrastination. I said to myself, I know how to do this now. Know how to make the whole sandwich taste good from start to finish. Isn't that something? Okay. To be able to enjoy something from start to finish, even though you don't like certain parts about it. Okay. And you know what to do. You know what you do? You eat the crust of the fried bologna sandwich first. You eat it and you take small bites out of it at first and just get a little bit of the mayonnaise or whatever you put on your sandwich, whatever it is. Okay. You just get a little taste of it in the crust and you eat around the crust and you do it as small of bites as possible. You know why? Because as soon as you eat the crust, the goodies are all in the middle. Okay. Now let me get back to the book here. You'll get down to the very last bite. And you know what the last bite is? The heart of the sandwich. And that's the part that we all like. The good stuff is in the heart. Everything is there to the maximum. Whatever you put on your sandwich, it's all in the middle and all the good stuff is there. And that's where the best bite is. And you get to enjoy the crust much better because you're looking at getting deeper inside the sandwich to get to the heart where the real goodies are. So what you do, you save the best part for the last. So the point on procrastination is this. All of us procrastinate in some areas of our life. I know there's gurus out there, and I know there's coaches out there, and they've arrived, and they just get everything precise, and they're the machine of machines, okay? But I'm going to tell you, we all procrastinate, no matter what it is, in some areas of our life all the time. So what do? We got to hurry up and do the stuff that we don't like to do first, which is eat the crust. Find the things that you don't like to do first and do that first, like eat the crust. So you're looking forward to what's coming at the end, which is the heart of the sandwich. So if you eat the crust first, the crust is more palatable. You enjoy it more. And then you get to work your way all the way forward to the good stuff. So all that means is that the things you don't like to do, you do them first. Okay? You do them first. And while you're doing that, then it's more enjoyable because you're looking forward to the things that you like to do. And that's how I learned how to deal with procrastination. And procrastination, fried bologna sandwich is on page 65 of the book. And I don't know if you enjoyed that. I don't know what you got out of that. I got no idea. But I'm telling you, there's nuggets like that through all of this. And that has served so many people so well to be able to understand that, hey, wait a minute. We all procrastinate. We do. Every one of us. I don't care what your rank is. I don't care what your check is. I don't care how many times you're on Facebook and the company tells you how smart and rich and pretty you are and your downline tells you all that stuff. Okay, we're all the same. We all have the same weaknesses to different degrees in different areas, and we shore them up as best as we possibly can. That's how the long-haired hippie construction worker had to figure that out and do that. And so I wanted to share that with you just because Taylor's not here, okay? So I had to do something to make up for the vacancy, the void that is here from her talent, her personality, and all the value that she brings to the table, especially for all of you ladies. Because right now you guys know that in our space, and by the way, it was said in the book 41 years ago, in the tape and in the book, about women and the role that women were going to play. Back then, I'll be completely honest with you, women were window dressing. They were arm candy. I'm not saying I'm proud of that, but that's the way it was in the world. But that was also the way it was in our space. They got to register people and they got to do the honey-do stuff around and say hello to everybody, but they weren't on stage. And I'm telling 41 years ago, I said, listen, here's the deal about women, okay? And 41 years ago, I said that what was going to happen to the future of our space. And now we find ourselves, okay, 41 years later, and our space is 70% women, and the powerhouses is there in that with women. Now I'm sharing that with you to let you know that it's been documented, but I'm also sharing with you this stuff never changes. This is the real deal about how this industry was built. Our profession was built, and the stuff that's in there is always there. It's not the next shiny object. Okay, what it is basic fundamentals. And right now we're faced with some incredible challenges, but in challenges in our space, there's tremendous opportunities. Okay, and that's the reason we started the Wealth Building Academy. We started the Wealth Building Academy because we saw what was happening in our space. And what was happening in our space, we were losing ground. And we were losing ground, a lot of ground. And our space is unstable right now. And our space is not growing the way that it once was. And our space really took off in 2012, going like this to 2015 because of what was happening on social media. Okay. And it was great. It was absolutely great. And there's still parts of it that is wonderful. I'm not downplaying that. But what I am saying is the focus changed. The focus changed from the basic fundamentals, okay, of what this industry is all about, which is that most people, 80% of the people in our space, join this space and stay in this space, not for the Lamborghini bikini thing, not for how to learn how to be a marketer before you become a network marketer. You got to learn how to blog. You got to learn how to do Facebook Lives. You got to do TikToks. You got to do all of this. You got to send this message out to everybody in your downline or in your database, et cetera, et cetera. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But that's not the stability of our space. The stability of our space is the same stability of the fundamentals that started with it when I've been doing it close to 54 years now. I call it run, hit, catch, throw. There's only a half a dozen things you need to learn, and you do those things over and over again. Social media has been with us since day one. Okay. It just had on all social media is a way to contact people faster, quicker, better, not necessarily better, but faster and quicker. Okay. And let me tell you something, it's been with us day one. You know what it used to be? I used to send out postcards from the phone book. That was social media, reaching people faster, quicker, better. Used to do flyers, put little flyers on windshields and it'd go to places and come out in the parking lot. And all it was a way to, it was like some putting up a post. That's all it was. Okay. The way to reach people faster, quicker, better, to see if they'd raise their hand and want to talk to you. That was what it was really all about. And then it became videos. Then social media was conference calling. And then it was, satellites, not in any one particular order, but social media has been with us all the time. And social media is a very good way to reach people, okay, if you have that personality. It's a very good ways to reach people if you have that kind of confidence, okay, that kind of patience, whatever that may be, and that kind of drive. But the majority of the people in our space are not there for that. All they're looking for is a place to feel comfortable, okay, place to feel comfortable, a community they can belong to, and the hope that perhaps, okay, they might be able to take this community that they feel good in, because we're very good at getting people to join us, and we're good at saying, hey, wait, hang around this flagpole, we're not much different, and hang around here and be part of this community. And if we can get people to do that, then they start coming around to the thing that, hey, maybe I can do this. Okay. It's no different than someone joining the gym and needing to lose 50 pounds. Okay. And they don't believe they can do it. They've joined other gyms and they've done other things and they've been on every diet in the world, but they joined the gym that you're in and they like it because it's a nice community. It's some place that they feel comfortable in. Okay. It's a place where they can go over and have juice bar. Okay. And have community and lean against a cardio machine and feel good about them, feel good about the gym, feel good about you, the community. They are not necessarily losing weight. They're not necessarily going out there and lifting weights, but they belong. Okay. And they get into that community of comfort that they feel good about you, it, and them, which is pillar number 2 in the academy. That's very important to get down. Okay. You understand that you're a long ways down the road. I will tell you, as these things always change in our space, they always change. Fundamentals never change. Okay. So you got this space where people today, okay, and they always have come into this community, hang around the flagpole, come to hang around the people are calling everything an event. There's different, it's meetings, and there's different meetings with different goals. And you figure that one out, and you're a long ways down the road too. Long story short here, what happens is same thing that happened to me. Okay. Same thing that happened to Taylor. The same thing that happened to Jim Rohn. The same thing that happened to Mark Hughes. Same thing that happened to Bobby DePue. Okay. The same thing that happened to all the so-called heroes that are out there today. We didn't believe that we could do this. We didn't believe it. We had to get incubated and hang around a community and get into an environment, as Taylor always says, environment stronger than will, and get into an environment that we see other people that are not much different than us that are making some progress and sometimes making good progress and others making great progress. We get to thinking, maybe it can happen for me. Not like it's happened for them, okay, but maybe 10% of what it's happened for them. And we start thinking about that $500 a month threshold. That, and by the way, it's in the book 41 years ago, and it's never changed. And it's more important today than ever, and than ever. Okay. That $500 a month where someone can make in a fun, simple, easy manner, just getting a few customers. It doesn't take much, 10, 15 customers, depending on your compensation plan. You can get into that $500 a month range fairly easy. That's an incredible place to be. If just think about it. One of our wealth builder movements here, Mary and Seamus, okay, they were one of the first to join us in this whole thing, even before we had the academy back in June when we put the first focus group together. They went on and they did something that only a handful of people in their entire company's done in over 40 years. Okay. They were able to get people in this community and get them involved. And they have over 100 people that are documented that are making $500 a month. Okay. In their group. And there are only a handful of people in 40 years that ever achieved that award. And guess what? That took them about 6 months in this environment and to be working with their existing group, plus getting a new group to make that to happen. I want you to think about having 100 people, making $500 a month off of their retail wholesale business and having that little residual check that they got coming in. That's called stability. And that's what people are looking for today. Okay. And that's what people are finding out in this book club that we have. And you're going to get some stories here in a minute. You've got to stick with me here, talking longer than normal, because Taylor's usually taking over here and doing the job that you guys want to really hear. But before I get to our testimonials today, and they're coming in from 2 different countries, by the way, okay, using the same material. But I want to talk to you about gig. Okay. We had John Fleming on just about 10 days ago. Okay. Actually, a little over a week ago, we had John Fleming on, who's head of the Fleming Group. And they're SMEs, subject matter experts on the gig economy. People talk about the gig economy all day long and comparing it. They go over there. One thing that's great about network marketers, they're great at stealing languages. They can steal language and they can steal ideas and they can steal methodologies, but they can't recreate the behavior the way that they need to. You got to have the behavior that goes with that language that means it. But John was talking to us about how the space now is on a kind of stabilized place because 2020 was a pretty good year, okay, for most people. But it was created, that growth in 2020 that came for those of you that had it in your checks and things, it came from external circumstances, COVID, okay? People's behavior was changing because of COVID. And because of that, network marketing was able to capitalize on it. And for a lot of you, your checks really got into very, very good space in your company sales and everything else. But that was artificial stimulation. Okay. That is not scalable and sustainable. You can't repeat that process. Fundamentals is scalable and sustainable. You can always repeat it regardless of the set of circumstances if you have the basic fundamentals down. And so what has happened is now everybody's got this new baseline and they don't know quite what to do and how to go after it because the space is no longer the Lamborghini bikini space. Okay. You know, and you should know what I'm talking about there. I'm not going to elaborate on it, but you should know it's about. How can I possibly perhaps make $500 to $1,500 a month? Okay. And be able to stay at home, be able to be the mom, stay at home dad, be able to go to the game events, because we talk about money all the time and we talk about freedom, time freedom. Most network marketers don't have time freedom. They are married to that phone. They are married to their team. They got to lift all the weights for their team. Okay. And everyone talks about, well, you got to get a system, Well, there's a difference between a system and a structure. A system is concepts and it changes. Whatever system most people are using today, it was different 6 months ago, definitely different 2 years ago. Structures don't change. That's fundamentals. Baseball, run, hit, catch, throw. All right. So let me get to where the space is growing. There is growth in our space. Okay. But last year, okay, zero growth in full-time activity, zero growth. We did have increase in part-time activity, but it has stabilized. But let me tell you where that $500 a month that can be parlayed into $500 a week, that can be parlayed into $500 a day. Let me tell you where the competition is today. It's not network marketing. Every network marketing company right now today is competing against the next network marketing company. Okay. And the growth is small. There's only about 7 million people in the space now, about 7 million. It increased about 500,000 of part-timers last year, zero full-timers. But let me tell you where that $500 to $1,500 a month is exploding. It's in the gig economy. There's now 70 million in America. In the UK, there's about 7 million. That's the only two that we've been able to quantify with any kind of confidence that it's an actual number, okay? But there's 70 million, I'll use that in America, out there today that are looking for you, no matter what your company is, no matter what your product line is, no matter what your compensation plan is, no matter good, bad, or difference going on in your company. There's 70 million in the United States, 7 million in the United Kingdom that is looking for someone like you to tell them, hey, listen, if I could show you a way that you could possibly maybe make $500 to $1,500 a month doing something that doesn't require any experience whatsoever, would you be interested in getting some information on that? And then you got to be able to tell them the information and get out of the Lamborghini bikini phase and talk to them. And I want to talk to you about a couple things, okay? And I'll use Uber and Lyft because that is very quantifiable. But do you know how many places on the internet you could start this morning on Amazon affiliate, and you can go out there? You don't have to be three-wayed. You don't have to be mentored. You don't have to be coached. You don't have to meditate a half an hour a day. You don't have to read your goals and affirmations. Okay. Today, you can start in the morning with so many things, okay, that have affiliate programs, an Uber type of environment that you can do just with your phone, with your current experience, turn it on, turn it off. There are thousands of them. Okay, that's what you're competing against. So you got to have the audience and the language and the behavior, okay, which is in pillar number 2 again. And actually, it's pillar number 1, audience language and behavior. And you'll be able to talk to those people and you can get their attention. I'll give you a couple of stories, okay? And then I want you to bring up these stories that are live here today. And this just happened to me. One of them happened last week and one of them happened Wednesday night, okay? Just to give you an example of this. On it was last week. It's sometime during the deep dive. I'm having breakfast at this local restaurant that I like because I get to go there about 1 in the afternoon, maybe closer to 2 sometimes, and have breakfast, and it's great. And I get to cut back and then get ready for the rest of my day. And I'm sitting there at the window watching this thing, and I look out there, and I see this white BMW, and it got my attention. It was an SUV BMW, and it got my attention because it had really nice 22-inch tires and wheels on it. I'm a car guy, and it was very clean. And I'm looking at it, and I said, whoa, that's a good looking piece, man. I like that. And I'm checking out the car, and as the car's pulling in, okay, I see the lady that's driving it, and then she's on her phone, and she's very animated talking to someone. And then I realized, wait a minute, okay, she's parking in the Uber Eats spot. That means that the Uber Eats guy and the Grubhub and all of those guys, you may not know about this internationally, but those are big deals in America. It saved so many businesses because the Ubers that were driving people for recreational things are now delivering foods, or even from McDonald's. McDonald's does this. Almost every business in America does this now, and it's hitting internationally at a very fast pace where they go and deliver the food. They can do it anytime they want. All they got to do is pick up their phone and say, I got a half an hour here of underutilized time. I got an underutilized asset, which is my automobile. Okay, I've got to go do errands. Why don't I log in and see what I can do and make some money while I'm doing my errands, while I'm on my way to get my massage, while I'm on my way to get my hair done, or on my way to buy groceries, or on my way to pick up my grandkids? Okay, why don't I see if I can make a few dollars by logging in and seeing if there's anything available that I could make some money with that $500? See, that's a big market. And let me get back to the BMW. I'm watching this lady, okay, and she gets out of the car. She's still on the phone, and she's very animated. I just visualize, oh my goodness, I'm so happy I'm getting my nails done today, man, because they look terrible. And she's talking to her girlfriend, and I figured that, I got to do these errands, and she's talking that stuff, okay? And I'm upset with her. And I'm upset with her because she's parking in the Uber Eats. That guy's got to come in, or that woman's got to come in and take that space so they can go in and get the food, make the delivery, and make that $500 a month to $1,500 a month. And I'm kind of upset with that. And she gets out. She's nicely dressed in gym clothes, but nicely dressed, nothing over the top, but nicely dressed. And she's still animated talking. And then I noticed that she came back and got into her car very quickly with a bunch of packages in her hand. Okay. And she's still animated, and she's still doing this, and she takes off. And then I figured it out. You know what she's doing? She's at part-time for that $500, $1,500 a month while she's taking care of buying groceries, on her way to get her nails done. Okay. On her ways to visit her parents. Okay. Just talking to her friend that she needed to talk to 2 days ago. And she's doing this part-time gig economy, not having to be three-way, not having to be mentored, not having to write their goals down. They know what their goals are, $500 to $1,500 a month. They don't have to worry about that. So that was a very valuable lesson to me. And I got another one on Wednesday night. Okay. And we're over at this local place. There's a sushi place called Coda, and it's really good. And we're eating outside there. And I watched this lady, and I'm watching her. She's walking across the parking lot. There was no Uber Eats spot in front that was open. I didn't know she was with Uber Eats whatsoever, but she's a grandmother is what she appeared to be. And she had her little grandchild, maybe 2 years old, this little boy in her hand. And she's walking and playing and having fun. You know, a grandmother with a 2-year-old boy, you got that picture. And she's very overweight. She's at least 100 pounds overweight. Okay. And she's having a struggle to walk in because it's kind of hot and stuff. And I said, that's really something. You know, she's spending the night coming to have sushi with her 2-year-old grandson. That's how I assessed it. And guess what? Within a few minutes, she's walking out carrying the Uber Eats package. Here's the grandmother. And the grandmother is babysitting, taking care of her grandmother duties that she loves. But guess what else? She's talking about $500 to $1,500 a month on this gig where she can turn it on and turn it off. And you know what's more important? In network marketing, we say you can turn it on and turn it off, but you got another Zoom and you got this and you got that and you got this one and the company's got this one. Dr. So-and-so is going to be on over here. And they don't respond to that anymore, guys. It's a different world out there. Fun, simple, magical. And what the real issue is, that $500 to $1,500 a month, what they can do in this environment that I'm talking about. And we're teaching people in the academy how to identify the audience language and behavior, how to be able to take those basic fundamentals and blend it into the 70 million versus the 6 million, the 7 million. And that's what is happening. That's why this stuff is growing so quickly for everybody. They're adapting. Okay. And it's that $500 to $1,500 a month. You say, well, I got people who want to make more than that. Simple. All you got to do is get a little team of people that make $500, $1,500 a month doing that, and you're going to make $500, $1,500 a week. And if you want to make it have a $500, $1,500 a day, you build a bigger team. Wouldn't it be something to be in an environment like this that's a part of the LT Academy, that all we do is teach people, share with people, and work with people that know how to do that. And I want to have a couple of them come up with you here right now. And one of them is going to be from Spain. Okay, and one's going to be from the United Kingdom. I don't know exactly where in the United Kingdom. And I think I'm going to start with Stacy. Okay, and Stacy, I had a quick conversation with you ahead of time here, and I told you two things. Number one, I loved your hair. Okay, it looked great on camera. Okay, and number two, I asked you when you got started, and you got started in May of this year. Okay, tell us your story. Tell everybody. You and I have never had a conversation like this, so I don't know what you're going to say, but tell them why you got involved, why you got in this type of environment, what you've learned, and go after it. Just have at it.
Thank you. Hi, Larry. Hi, everybody. I'm glad you can hear me because I had a few techie issues. So yeah, all good. My name's Stacey Lewis. I'm 37 years old. I live in a little place called Fair Oak in Hampshire, in the UK with my husband, Graham, and I've got two very naughty, cheeky little boys at home as well. So my background's quite a mix, if I'm honest. I've always been sort of very active, very busy my whole life. My mum, growing up, my mum was an international high jumper for Great Britain. So being active was very much a part of my life and was always busy doing things. And I actually went into the dance world. I'm talking like feathers, sequins, all of that side of things. And then I moved through into fitness and then into personal training. And that was my real passion for a long, long time. I actually retired at the age of 26, so about 10, 11 years ago. Dodgy hip, you know the drill. And to be honest, that was my real passion. I really loved helping people and just people generally. I just love meeting people and socializing with people. So kind of fast forwarding a little bit more, it was about 14, 15 months ago, actually, that this all kind of started to happen for me, because I just kind of drifted from job to job, if you like, over that time period. Nothing really gave me that same kind of buzz. And as a lot of you know, obviously the pandemic hit last year and I was furloughed from my full-time job. For anyone that's not kind of familiar with the furlough concept, it's where you have your salary quite heavily cut, you are sent home and you have nothing to do. Now, for someone that's a very busy person, that was a very difficult thing for me. Add into that I was plunged into homeschooling my children because all the schools were shut.
Yep.
And at the time they were 4 and 6. Now, heavily isolated, felt really, really low. My energy was just absolutely shocking. And it was a really uncertain time because I thought, what's going to happen with my job? That thought is just constantly going around my head all the time whilst I'm covered in Play-Doh and glitter, living that dream. And a friend literally just sent me a message. She's like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And it was there's always that instinct, isn't there, to have that reflex of, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." But I was like, no,
yes, but
I'm not fine. I'm not fine. Actually, everything's really, really rubbish and pants, and I want to bury the kids in the garden. It was that bad. And she did reach out and she offered sort of solutions in terms of my energy and my mood and all of that kind of thing. But what she also offered me was an opportunity, a financial opportunity that was possibly there. And I'll be honest, I was really, really skeptical. So anybody that I talk to, I can really resonate with them, regardless of what platform you're on.
Sure.
I was skeptical. I wouldn't say I was particularly upbeat and tempo about trying something new, given my mindset at the time. But I thought, you know what? What if my furlough just ends and I don't have a job?
Yes.
What am I actually going to do? What is my husband going to do? Without that income coming in. So I thought, actually, I do really need to look at this opportunity, and it's not something I ever would have considered before, ever. A little bit like with yourself, I never thought of trying something different. I just had kind of fallen into the same things. And it just kind of went from there. And if I'm honest, a little bit like you said, over that 5 to 6 months from May through to December last year, I did have really great success. And I think that was kind of capitalized on with the network marketing growth. Everybody was at home, et cetera, et cetera. But it was very organic, and I was super passionate about it. And I was sharing. And that was all amazing. But come sort of December time, I was starting to kind of lose my buzz. And why? Was because my backpack was full, absolutely laden. And if I'm probably honest, I was probably using those rocks to polish cars at the same time. Everything was going on, and I was available pretty much 24/7 for people, be that the people I was looking after or my team members, providing scripts like, oh, do this, do that, write this, do that, do the other, answering questions immediately, not really pointing or directing anybody to other ways of finding out that information, kind of wanting to do all of that for them. And I was on all the calls, Larry, all of them, because Stace, you need to be on this call. Stace, you need to be on this call. You can't miss this. This one's brilliant. Oh no, you have to be on this because you have to achieve this, and you need to get on this because of X, Y, Z. And I didn't have any time left of an evening to actually be with my husband and to be with my children, and actually to prospect, to actually do my job description.
Yes.
And I was like, hang on, this is not what I signed up for. This isn't the deal, surely. This is not what I wanted. So it was in December, and you're familiar with Ray Cashel and Joss, who spoke last week after our day. And he sort of said about these Millionaire training audios. No offense, Larry, but I was like, oh God, I can't do audios. I was like, oh God, he's this happy-go-lucky Irish guy. I was like, oh, dude, this is not for me. But given my new mindset, I thought, no, I'll give it a try. I'll see what they're like. Be open-minded, step in, see kind of what happens. And you know what? They were such a game changer, like you were saying, because it fit in with my life. So after working out in the morning, I'd have a shower, and the beauty of the audios is because they're 15, 20 minutes a piece. Whilst I'm getting changed and ready, I'm plugging in and setting up myself for the day, because that was just kind of dead time. What else do you do in that time? You might, put a bit of music on or something, but you're not actually utilizing that time. So I do that every single day. And it's funny you were saying about the sandwich, because if I've got days where I know I haven't maybe got a lot on, it's very easy for me to procrastinate, and the day just kind of disappears. So I will pick and choose which ones I listen to on any given day, depending on my mood and what I need and what sort of alignment I need from that day. So they've been amazing. That then led on to me getting the book, obviously. And that helped me, again, like you said, come away from social media, get off my screen and read something of an evening to set up my mind for the night and the next day, so that you can't help but come across negativity and things on social media. As much as you want to put out good stuff, there's other stuff that comes back at you. So that was another really big tick in the box for me. And it actually wasn't until March this year that I joined the academy. I really went in for the three-legged stool.
Let me ask you a question. Did you come straight into the academy? Did you do the book club? Did you do the free resource? How did that happen?
So I kind of went backwards. So I kind of did the audios, and then the book and the book club, and then the academy. Because as I was starting to listen to the audios and apply that to what I was doing day to day, my business was starting to grow. And then I was like, I'm going to invest in myself, and I'm going to invest in my business, and I'm going to take it to that stage. And since embracing the academy, that's really where things have really started to change for me, because it's so much more simple and fun for me now. And I'm back enjoying it. And that was something that I'd lost. I had lost it, if I'm honest. And I'm actually working less, if that makes sense, but I'm getting more from it, to the point I've got so much more kind of confidence and belief in myself and actually what I am capable of achieving, that in May I actually resigned from that full-time job that I was furloughed from, when they asked me to come back to 40 hours a week, 30 to 40-minute lunch break if I was lucky. And I thought, I don't really want that, and I don't need it. And I know that I can do this, and I know that I have what I need from this. I don't need anything else. Like you said, I don't need this shiny thing or this new aspect. It's just drilling down on those other bits and pieces. And in July, so literally a handful of weeks ago, I had my biggest ever check from my company, which tipped into 4 figures, which is bonkers. It's absolutely mental. It's blown my mind. You know, and taking it back to kind of like that 80, 15, 5 for the 80%ers, guys. Like, for me, I paid for the tiling in our kitchen. It's not massively exciting, but I wouldn't have been able to do that before. You know, with my little boy, Evan, he's starting junior school, and for him to do music lessons, that was going to cost just over £300. Now, my husband and I mean, he earns a decent income, but we just make ends meet all the time. So for us, normally we would have had to sit down and have a conversation around, how do we tell him no? Was how the conversation would have gone. Whereas this time it was like, yeah, what do you want to play? Yes. Please don't let it be, you know, the flute or anything like a recorder, but anything is fine. But just having that ability to say yes. And I think the biggest thing for me over the last few months, in 8 months, I've saved myself, not had to put anything on my husband to do it, but I've saved enough money that we've just had our garden landscaped, and I paid for it myself. And it's something that my family can enjoy. And I feel like a proper grown-up because I've never saved for anything in my life. So the fact that I've been able to do that with the opportunity, and guys, I'm not full-time in this either. This is part-time. That's the massive thing. And it's just from being passionate about what I'm doing and sharing my stories. Like I never convince anybody to do anything, because what's the point? It's just about building relationships, and that language shift for me, like, this is what I'm doing. And if you want to do it as well, awesome, I'm here. But if it's not for you right now, absolutely not a problem. My door is always open. And that has been such a big shift for me, because that's actually led to people quite often then giving the real reasons why perhaps they're not doing it, because you build up that real sort of genuine authenticity around your conversation, because you've set, being confident of giving that out makes such a difference. And people can then relate to you. People feel so much better now about me.
Yes.
We have a good relationship. They feel good about themselves, and then they feel good about the company. And it means that if in the future and when they're ready to hop on board, I'm the first person that they're going to think of, because you've nurtured that relationship. And that's what's massive. You know, the ABC approach for me and those fundamentals, you're absolutely right. I mean, and it seems so obvious, but until you're actually doing it and just going, actually, law of averages, just be consistent, keep doing what you're doing, and it will come back round 110%. I mean, and for me, one of the biggest things it's given me is time. I went back to work after 6 months after having each of my boys full time. I went back to work because I didn't think that there was another option. Like I had to. We had a mortgage, and there was no other option. But now, you know, I get to have breakfast with them in the morning. I can pick them up from school. I can go and watch school shows, as well as bringing in this extra money as well. And the fact that I've got that time, it's mega. It's absolutely mega. Wow. So that's my story, and thank you so much for having me on.
Listen, Stacey, I mean, you had so much to say here, because, and I'm gonna share a couple of things that I got out of your stories. I've never heard your story before, but you got into network marketing and you did pretty good with it, but you were unhappy with it because you didn't have the time freedom that it was promised. Okay. Then you found yourself having to think about going back to work after several months. Then you found the academies and the book club, the ABC approach, and said, wait a minute, this fits me. Okay, I can do this. It is, and this is not about the company. The company, their job is supply you with products and money, and that's it. Okay, what you did is you found the BMW lady is in you, the grandmother is in you, and Stacy is in you guys out there. This story is out there, and when you identify and understand the simplicity of audience, language, and behavior, and understand that your job description is onboarding members and customers, put them in the academy, put them into ABC approach, and you do your job, they get to do their job, okay? And you have the time freedom with the money that's coming, and you had your biggest check ever. Wow. And paying for the tile. Wow. She doesn't have to get the Lamborghini. She doesn't have to go out there and flash all the blame. She doesn't have to be able to go up there and be famous for 10 minutes on stage and then struggling that she's not tall enough, short enough, young enough, good enough. And that's what's happened in our space. You are the BMW lady, and you are here. And that $500 to $1,500 a month, you've gone to building a little team now. The $500, $1,500 a week, and you're on your way to the $500, $1,500 a day, building a little team, doing exactly what you're doing. This is gig, what you guys heard. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Larry. Thank you.
Yeah, and I can't see what's going on over here, but there's a whole lot of stuff. Let's go to Spain, okay? And we want to come to Jilly, and I've heard Jilly's story before, and just tell us how just tell them something. I don't care what you tell them. We got to get your mic on. You're on. We got to unmute her.
Done. Am I unmuted now?
Okay,
hey,
good.
Hey everybody. Okay, I'm Jilly from Spain. Stacey, your stories just blow me away. That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, so from when I first came on and shared my story with you, I think that was back in January. So really for me, I've always been a stay-at-home mum. I've helped my husband with his businesses, and I've been with my company 3 years now, but really that was for a personal development time. And then I also had my own little business, and during the pandemic and things changed, I had to look at different things as well. So I decided to take on what I do now as my part-time business too. Joined the book club, fell in love with the book, absolutely. Just kind of the one variable was you. And I said this before, my dad worked all his life, absolutely all his life, retired. And then it happens. He left my mum. He left my mum to nothing. So kind of we knew as a couple, as a family, we wanted to do something different with our lives. We wanted to change things. We wanted to make something for us. So we decided to pack up in the UK and move to Spain 18 years ago. It's had its ups and downs, but I tell you something, I would not change it for the world. So being part of the book club, absolutely loving it. Then it was my birthday in January, and I thought, right, I'm going to join the academy. I need to understand more about what goes on in this gig world, what happens with Larry and Taylor. And it's just, I probably because of my background being a PA, I'm always that kind of organizer. I'm the mumsy type. I want to be nurturing everybody. I've had to stand back and direct them, like you tell us, to the different areas, to the resource centres, to where they need to go, because obviously I was bombarding myself too much. I was getting overloaded. I didn't have time with my husband. So I needed to sort of draw back to basics. And that's what I've been doing. I've been gone back to basics. I direct my team to where they need to go. They love what they're doing. I love what I'm doing. And yeah, it's just grown. July was my best month too. So yeah. Lacey, take my hat off to you, darling. Absolutely brilliant. I'm loving what's happening. I love how I feel, how my team's growing. And, you know, what can I say anymore? Just the confidence. I have so much more confidence to be able to pick up the phone and speak to somebody and explain, being simple about what we talk about. it's just amazing. It really, really is. And that's basically how I've grown, and that's where I want to take my business, keeping it simple, not having my backpack full of stuff as well. So yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Jilly, thank you so very much. Here's what's inspiring. They're in different teams in different countries, okay, and yet they're leveraging each other's success, okay. And you were saying the same thing that I heard from Stacy. You were working your tail off, and you were happy with your company, happy with your products, but you weren't happy with you, and you weren't happy with not having that time freedom. When you yeah. And when you understand that the grandmother and the BMW lady, that's what you are, Jilly. That's what Stacy is. They want freedom. They want flexibility. Yeah.
When you get overloaded, it's too much. It's absolutely too much. So to bring it back to basics and to work around my team and understand what they want and direct them to where they need to go. I'm not lifting their weights basically anymore. I'm putting that down. No more weightlifting.
Bravo. Bravo. Thank you so very, very much. And both of them talked about the backpack. And I know for some of you that's new language, but on the deep dives, when you're in the academy, we have about 6 to 8 hours of the second week of every month, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that Taylor and I come up and do live mentoring and training on what's happening with the ABC approach, with stories that have succeeded, that people are succeeding with. And it isn't going from 500 a day to 500 a week to 500 a minute and 500 a second. That isn't what's happening in this world, guys. People today, they're more important. What time and freedom is more important to them than ever before. You could have the greatest company and the greatest compensation plan and the greatest all ever, but the problems that were defined here exist in every single company out there, where they have found the way. Here, you heard the backpack. I got to get back to that. Okay, we talk about life circumstances. Every one of us. It doesn't matter if you're making $500 a month, a week, a day, a minute, a second. We all have life circumstances that we have to face every single day. And it's like every morning we get up in the morning and we got to put our backpack on of today's responsibilities. Some of it is health. Some of it is spousal support. Some of it is kids. And you got to think about these kids today. They're going back to lockdown. And you're going to be a stay-at-home mom, whether you like it or not. You're going to be. Wouldn't it be something that you can enjoy those kids and be able to take your business and have more time with the family than ever and be able to earn that money? But we got this backpack that we have, and every day we put in today's life circumstances and know how to function within that and understand that everybody on your team has that backpack and not have to say boom, boom, boom. That is not what that BMW lady was about. That's not what the grandmother was all about. That's not what Stacy's all about. That's not what Jilly's all about. Okay. That's not what the 70 million's all about. That's not what the 7 million in this United Kingdom is all about. It's about this. And if you know the audience and you know the language that they speak to each other, and it's simple because you talk it all day, and you know the behavior they're looking for, and then they have a platform, the LT Academy that supports the book club, the LT Academy that supports the free resource center that says if you do these things, you'll be able to have those things over there. That's what's happening. And this is a way, guys. This is a way. And I got to thank our participants here today. Thank you so much. And I got to tell you something. It ain't the same for me without Taylor. I tell you that right now. I mean, I pride myself on being able to do about anything. But I will tell you right now, this is without her, I'm kind of lost, you know. And this, guys, the future's great. For those that embrace that, and I got to say it, job description, your job description. What if your job description is period onboarding members and customers, not training them? BMW lady, the grandmother, Stacy here, okay, Jilly here, did not have to be trained. They had to be pointed to where the attitude, the goal, how everybody, where that pillar was that says about that audience, language, and behavior. They had to be pointed to simplified follow-up. They don't have to do the work. Their job description is only onboarding members and customers. And then their job description is to know where to point any question that comes their way. Not a system. They change. quickly. A structure that has been built. So, guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. And if I'm gonna look at my watch, oh my goodness, it's 1 minute to the hour. And Taylor told me, whatever you do, you got to get this done. We usually get them done in around 40, 45 minutes. You got to get it done in less than an hour. So, guys, just want to thank you for being here. What we're all about at the LT Academy is sharing with you how to build you, grow you, to grow your team, to grow your check, to grow your company. Come aboard, take advantage of what's happening in this exponential, booming gig economy. And if you know audience, language, and behavior in the 6 pillars, you're in. So, guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be with you as a group and a unit here the first week of September with the deep dives. Hang on, we got some stuff for you. Okay, thank you. Adios. See ya.